Now at 6, how first responders stay safe while navigating dangerous roads. Plus,
with many area roads still snow covered, going for a drive isn't the best option, but many may still need to get groceries or pick up a prescription. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office program aimed to help out.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Although the snowfall has ended, it's left a number of local roads hazardous, especially for first responders. This is KOAM News at 6. The roads can be dangerous for anyone, even when they're taking it slow, but those big fire trucks and ambulances, they're not built for this kind of weather. That's why they have to change how they respond to emergency calls to ensure they make it there safely.
It takes a lot longer to stop the bigger apparatus for sure. The smaller apparatus are just as dangerous though. So we actually take it to where you see people running lights and sirens often. We don't. Whenever this stuff's on the ground, we tend to take the lights and sirens out of the equation, and we just go non-emergency the entire time.
Tonight at 9 and 10, we're going to hear more on what local first responders do to keep themselves and you safe during snow events. With some roads still slick from the snow, drivers are urged to be careful. For some people who don't feel comfortable driving at all, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office has you covered. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky explains how some residents can get items like groceries or prescriptions delivered free of charge.
Road conditions still aren't great, and while area law enforcement agencies remind folks to stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary, they also know that's not the case for some. So the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office is reminding everyone of a program they have to keep residents safe.
The Cherokee County Cares program actually started in March of 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic first started hitting the area. And it was initially designed to help people who weren't able to get out and get their prescriptions or groceries, things like that. And so we were able to partner with a lot of area pharmacies and grocery stores to help meet the needs of those folks who couldn't get out or didn't feel safe to get out to get those necessity items.
What started in 2020 has continued and is still in full effect, especially with recent road conditions.
And with the winter storm warning that we had and the treacherous road conditions, we wanted to remind people that this offer still stands. We're out patrolling and in the communities anyway, and so if somebody needs something, a prescription, groceries, things like that, they can give us a call and we'll do what we can to work with them to make sure they get what they need.
Sheriff Groves says so far they've only had a few calls.
We have had some. We've been able to take some propane to people that heat using that source, some prescriptions and some groceries here or there. So it hasn't been overwhelming at all.
But says that's okay.
We just, more than anything, we want the citizens of Cherokee County to know that should they need something, don't hesitate to call. Just because it's not law enforcement related, we're here to serve the community and whatever that looks like. And right now with the road conditions like they are, that might look like going and getting them necessary items.
In Columbus, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Sheriff Groves also says during times of severe weather, he encourages people to check on elderly neighbors or anyone else who might need an extra hand. It's good to see the sun today. Doug Heddy.
Yeah, the sun really helped us out. Even though temperature is below freezing, it still melts quite a bit of snow. I'd say we melted off 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and we didn't even make it out of the 20s for us today. Pretty much clear skies. Not a whole bunch is going on here behind this storm system, so it's nice and calm for a couple days. It is going to be cold tonight. We're dropping back, most of us now, mid-20s, and we'll slide back through the teens as we go through the evening hours. We kind of have a westerly wind. It's not too strong, but at about 5 to 10, so that gives us a little bit of a wind chill factor. It makes it feel like it's into the teens and lower 20s. Temperatures through the evening hours will slide back through the 20s into the teens, and I think most of us upper single digits to near 10 for an overnight low tonight. So it is going to be cold. We are going to warm up a little bit as we head into the weekend. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
See you then. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly has vetoed a Republican redistricting plan that would make it harder for the lone Kansas Democrat in Congress to win re-election this year. GOP lawmakers promised to try to override Kelly's veto, but if they do, the new lines are likely to face court challenges. The measure would split the Kansas City area into 2 congressional districts and cost Democratic Representative Sharice Davids some of the territory in her 3rd district where she performs best. The map also would move the liberal northeast Kansas community of Lawrence into the 1st District of central and western Kansas. Kansas task force meets to tackle issues in the youth correction system after the death of a 17-year-old in police custody. Sean Logan has more.
To move this work forward in our community.
There's a big task before this group to look at issues of juveniles and foster care, corrections, and law enforcement.
Need to have a microscope on them. We need to look at what goes on inside these facilities. How do young people feel about these practices? How can we change these practices so they're no longer harmful?
Thursday, the community task force developed following Cedric Lofton's death in September began to lay out the groundwork.
A lot of people in this community that really care about what happened and that are really concerned about making some systemic changes around the table, and we're going to have some very open and honest discussions.
The nearly 20 members will take a close look at Lofton's case to see what can be learned from it. That will include a review of the policies and procedures at the Juvenile Intake and Assessment Center.
This death should not have happened, and we want to prevent anything like this ever happening again to anybody in our communities.
As this task force gets going, they also made mental health and hearing from teens and young adult voices priorities as they set out to develop their recommendations.
I think as a young person who works with other young people lived experience in this system, it's very meaningful to me that young people were incorporated. It is kind of lonely being one of 2 young people on the task force with somewhat lived experience, and so I like the idea that we'll have the option to bring young people in later on.
Again, that was Sean Logan reporting. Still ahead, a group of Joplin volunteers on a mission to take care of what the sun and the climbing temperatures won't clear off driveways. And Freeman Hospital is raising awareness of heart disease among women. The sun has been getting rid of a lot of the snow today, but what the sun can't get to, students with College Heights Christian School will clear. The school put together snow removal teams, 6 crews, each with about 3 people or more, who are going around shoveling for folks who don't have the means to do it themselves. A volunteer we spoke with said they're inspired by their faith to help their neighbors.
Well, I go to College Heights. I've been a Christian for a while and believe in helping my neighbor and serving my community. I heard this opportunity pop up, and the place I work got canceled because of the snow. And first day I kind of sat around and felt pretty useless, but I heard this and wanted to hop at it.
College Heights will be at it again tomorrow. You can make a request directly through their Instagram page. You might notice a lot of people, especially healthcare workers, wearing red today. Employees at Freeman Health System are among those recognizing National Go Red for Women Day. The annual event is to raise awareness of the #1 killer of women in the U.S., heart disease. And many don't know the warning signs can be different for women than for men.
No, women can experience different symptoms, so it can be very confusing at times. So helping bring that awareness of what to look for and to get regular cardiac checkups, it's very, very important.
Freeman says cardiovascular disease causes 1 in 5 deaths each year, but only 55% of women realize heart disease puts their life at risk. Later, Thomas Jefferson and College Heights square off for a spot in the Mercy Warrior Classic Finals.
Plus, we don't have to worry about snow falling from the sky anymore, but we do have to worry about the cold. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a better day for us today. We didn't have to worry about ice or snow, at least once the sun came up. And we did do some pretty good melting as we went through the daytime hours. We actually got an inch of snow today. This was mainly shortly after midnight. We had that band of snow last night, but it did drop an inch of snow and then looked beautiful this morning. And then we started melting out there and it got all kind of slushy. But for the season now, we're at 12.5 inches. This entire storm system, it gave us 7 to 8 close in Joplin, and then of course off toward the west, lesser amounts. But the average snow for us in a season is 12, which has dropped over the past 20 years. Last year we had 19.5 inches, and I do think we'll get some more snow as we go through the rest of the season. All right, ice and snow totals. You can see on the Missouri side, this is the entire total. This includes the sleet, the freezing rain that we had Wednesday morning, And then the snow Thursday morning snowed this morning, but 7 to 10 on the Missouri side, Arkansas all the way down toward Tulsa. Tulsa picked up about 7.5. 5 to 7, most of the rest of the region, then our northwestern counties ended up with 3, 4, or 5 inches of snow. Temperatures better today. It's cold, but it was a lot better. We're sitting into the mid-20s right now, and we're going to drop back into the upper single digits a little bit later on tonight. So it is going to be cold across the region. We have a light westerly wind at about 5 to 10, so that gives us a little bit of a wind chill factor. It makes it feel a little bit colder than what it actually is, but still not bad. Mid-teens to lower 20s. Through the evening hours, we continue to slide back through the 20s, teens, and eventually about 8 to 10 for an overnight low later on tonight. So a cold night on tap for us. All right, pretty much clear skies. We have plenty of sun today. Do watch out on the roadways tonight because any slushy roads that will refreeze. But at least we're dry. The entire Central Plains look pretty calm. If we head out toward the west, we have a weak little wave across the northern parts of the Rockies. That really will not affect us. And there's no big storm system, so we're pretty quiet. We get a nice little calm stretch, which we deserve after the past few days. Patchy fog building in tonight due to the moisture on the ground and the melting that we've gotten. It burns off quickly. We get plenty of sunshine tomorrow. We do warm up, probably 10 degrees warmer than what we saw today. 10 to start, 32 by noon. High temp right around 38. South winds 5 to 15. Tomorrow night, upper teens to near 20 once again. We're going to get some patchy fog back in here. And then Sunday looks pretty good. Partly sunny skies. High temps, upper 30s to near 40 degrees. So we do some significant melting as we go through the weekend. Monday, still kind of cool, hanging out into the 40s, but then 50s return by Tuesday into Wednesday, so we start to warm up. We actually have a pretty good stretch of weather over about the next week or so. 38 tomorrow, of course, cold start, down to 19 tomorrow night, 39 on Sunday, 46 Monday, 54 on Tuesday. Then we kind of hang out upper 40s to lower 50s all next week, which isn't too bad.
You know, the warm weather we had to start this week seems very distant past, and a week from now, this snow is going to seem pretty distant.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just 4 days ago, we were 70 degrees.
I know. Yeah. Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, it's semifinal night at the Mercy Warrior Classic in Joplin. Plus, the Missouri Southern women aim to push their winning streak to 8 games in a rematch with Central Missouri on Saturday. We're going to hear from the Lions after the break.
Tonight is semifinal night at the Mercy Warrior Classic at McCallie Catholic High School. On the boys' side, we have 2 local teams squaring off this afternoon, aiming to move on to the championship game. At College Heights, sitting at 16-3 coming into the day, on the floor in the semifinals against Thomas Jefferson. Pick it up in the first, Ethan Meeks gets the basket for 2. Kind of a slow start. Cougars trail by 1 at halftime. Thomas Jefferson here, Drew Goodhope knocks down the uncontested 3. Cavaliers up 7, but the Cougars able to get back in it. Final minute of the third, Ethan Nadell sinks it from the corner, back to just a 1-score game. And College Heights dominates the fourth. Miller Long gets his own rebound, puts it back in for 2. Then back to Meeks, in off the glass here. He scores 16 for College Heights. But the points leader for the Cougars with 17. This guy, Curtis Davenport, driving and scoring. College Heights come back to win it 64-53. Cougars face Providence in the championship game on Saturday.
Look back to last year or the year before, we would have a tendency to, a game like that, to lose those games. And the group of seniors this year with the leadership, they just, say, hey, we're going to find a way not to lose the game. And some of our kids off the bench came in and did a good job for us too.
To the girls' bracket now, the tournament host Warriors facing Lamar in the semifinals. That game has already started with Lamar leading 28-17 at halftime. We'll have highlights from that game right here tonight at 10. The Missouri Southern Lions are on the road this weekend facing Central Missouri in a conference doubleheader tomorrow. Now on the women's side, the Lions are aiming to stay hot heading into the weekend on a 7-game winning streak. Now, this will be the second time these two teams have played. Back in December, the Jennies beat the Lions in Joplin 68-64, outscoring Southern 17-6 in the final 5 minutes. Since then, though, the Lions have been on a tear, winning 8 of 10. Head coach Ronnie Ressel says his young team has grown up a lot since that first meeting.
We was right there, had an opportunity with to win the ball game against Central Missouri. I think we've grown a lot. I mean, we matured a lot as a team, both ways, offensively and defensively. I think especially defensively. As far as our rotation, as far as subbing and everything else, we're really comfortable where we're at right now and what we're getting out of our team.
Finally, indoor track and field today. Missouri Southern hosting the Lion Open and multi-events. Southern wins the hammer throw on both the men's and women's sides. Mallory Huber and Josh Fulmer posting NCAA Division II provisional qualifying marks. Precious Olatunji wins the high jump for Southern, while Terrace Jackson, the Carthage product, takes second in the men's long jump. The meet continues tomorrow with heptathlon events beginning at 11 a.m. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Private First Class Lloyd Wolfenbarger served in the U.S. Army during World War II. He's from Seneca, Missouri, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Lloyd Wolfenbarger, tonight's 4th-state hero. Of course, you can learn about lots of other heroes from all across this area, more than 3,000 of them in our database. You can look them up by name or hometown. You can also nominate a hero of your own anytime. It's very simple. You just go to our website, koamnewsnow.com. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. The sports world is focused on China today as the Winter Olympics kick off in Beijing. China, though, is also the center of attention on Capitol Hill. Plus, hospitals nationwide are turning to international countries for help filling nursing shortages. And a state-by-state look at some favorite snacks for the upcoming Super Bowl. That and a lot more coming up tonight at 9 on Fox 14. Freezing temperatures and the piles of snow are great for children looking to break out the sleds, but you know, the kids enjoying time away from school, they aren't the only ones who love weather like this. The Gen 2 penguins at Springfield's Wonders of Wildlife are connoisseurs of the cold, so their caretakers took them on a field trip today. The birds made the short hop from their refrigerated habitat to this snowy outdoor enclosure. Experts at Wonders of Wildlife say it's vital to give the animals they care for as many natural experiences as possible, so a chance for the penguins to play in the snow, soak up the sun. Boy, that was just too good to pass up. Not a sight you would necessarily expect to see in southwest Missouri, but there you have it.
We don't get that much snow very often.
No. We certainly don't get that many penguins either. A lot of kids are going to be out playing in this stuff. You know, when it's dry, it's great for sledding, but when it gets a little bit wetter, slushier, it's great for building. Snowmen and making snowballs.
Tomorrow's probably the build day.
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to do a lot of melting. We're going to get into the upper 30s. So, I mean, it's cold, but it's not extremely cold, which is good. And then we hang out upper 30s again on Sunday. We do have a couple cold nights ahead, and then into the 50s next week.
Final sports notes.
Well, we showed you College Heights beating Thomas Jefferson. Cougars head coach Eric Johnson. It's his 650th win as a head coach.
Wow, congratulations. We're going to leave you with an overhead view of snowfall at Wildcat Glades in Joplin. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon services.